Hello ladies and gentlemen, how are you all doing today? I hope you have a good one. My name is Deandra Cakra Gayatri. I am a student of LSPR Communication and Business Institute, Jakarta, and currently in my 6th semester. As of now, I am under the supervision of Mr. Bonar Sirait as my public speaking and presentation skills class lecturer. In this video, I'm going to talk about what is, in my opinion, one of the most serious issues of the world. That's right, it's climate change.
I stand before you not as an expert, but as a concerned citizen. One of the 400,000 people who marched in the streets of New York on Sunday, and the billions of others around the world who want to solve our climate crisis.
Is climate change for real, or just a scare to make us care? Not everyone believes in climate change, but almost all of the world's scientists agree that the world is getting hotter and that humans are responsible for it. The Earth would not be such a hospitable place to live in without the greenhouse gas effect. What is the greenhouse gas effect? It is a natural process that functions a bit like isolation on Earth, allowing the sun's ray to pass through while at the same time capturing some of the emitted heat. The problem with greenhouse gases is that they are being added to the atmosphere faster than natural processes can remove it. The main reason for this to happen is carbon dioxide. This brings us to another problem today, which is the enhanced greenhouse gas effect, meaning that the more greenhouse gases accumulate in the atmosphere, the more heat is trapped inside and thus causing global warming and climate change. The average temperature on the surface of the planet has already increased 1.7 degrees Fahrenheit since 1880, which may not seem like much, but think about it this way. The heat from human emission is roughly equal to 400,000 Hiroshima atomic bombs exploding. How much trouble are we in? Future generations are in big trouble, but for now, it will continue to get warmer and storms will grow more intense with longer periods of drought in between. On longer terms, if emissions continue to rise unchecked, the climate disasters will be so severe they will destabilize the entire nations. All this could take centuries, but something like the sudden collapse of agriculture would trigger immediate chaos in society. What is the optimistic scenario? Best case is we get our act together and begin to rapidly bring emission levels down. Meanwhile, Earth turns out to be less sensitive to greenhouse gases than we currently believe. Plants and animals adapt quickly, and major technological breakthroughs help society limit emissions and adjust to climate change. But these are all the opposite of what we're actually seeing. So the only thing in our control is to limit emissions using all available tools and best behaviors currently at our disposal. How about the worst case scenario? Worst case, the collapse of food production causes spiraling in prices, and as our capitalist utopia breaks down, billions starves and our world gets violent and messy real quick. Kind of like a zombie apocalypse, but with extreme hunger spreading, chaos instead. So yeah, still just like zombie apocalypse. This would be coupled with the melting of the Antarctic ice sheets, leading to rapidly rising seas that would force us to abandon many of our greatest cities and all of the social, scientific progress that we were making within them. If emissions continue unchecked, we're looking at a total rise between 80 to 160 feet, which would occur if all of the ice in the poles melted, so the oceans will rise. The real question is how fast? Scientists only have Earth's history to base their predictions on, which suggests that the rate occasionally hit 1 foot per decade. So we'll have to adapt to an altered coastline sooner or later, but probably much sooner than later. Are the predictions reliable? Computer forecast only gives us a range of future possibilities. The most important evidence comes from the study of past climate conditions, which clearly shows that every time the amount of carbon dioxide in the air rises, the Earth warms up, ice melts, and the ocean rises. Is crazy weather tied by climate change? Scientists have been publishing strong evidence that warming is making drought and heat waves more frequent, causing heavier rainstorms and more severe coastal floodings. But while the internet has made us more aware of weather disasters in distant countries, it's hard to prove these are all directly made worse by climate change, although they probably are. Will anyone benefit from global warming? Canada and Russia both have vast frozen lands and could see some economic benefits from a warmer climate. Putin and the Russians, therefore, have been reluctant to make ambitious climate commitments. But expect that to change, as these countries realize they will be swamped by millions of refugees from less fortunate nations. Why do people still question climate change? Libertarians and other political conservatives do not like the policies proposed to fight climate change and have chosen to try and block them. By actively undermining the science, this effort has been funded by the oil and coal industry who favor making money. Now that you've known all of that, you find yourself asking, what can I do? You can reduce your carbon footprint by doing things like plunging leaks in your home's installations, installing a smart thermostat, taking public transportation, taking less airplane trips, buying an electric car, and putting solar panels on your roof. A big one is eating less meat, but what's really needed is for you to speak up and exercise your rights as citizens, because strong collective actions through state and national policies is how we'll make the most impact. Is there any reason for hope? Considering that we've been ignoring scientists' warnings since the 80s to limit emissions, we're pretty late in the game. But we finally reach a moment where nearly every country in the world agrees that this is a huge problem and seems ready to commit to taking some kind of action. Leading corporations will continue to make bold promises to do their part, though emission technologies will improve, and many states and cities will go much further than any goals set by their national governments. The United States, the world's biggest economy, is finally starting to move aggressively, and China, the world's largest emitter, is beginning to recognize that it needs to do the same, as many of its megacities will be underwater if the seas rise too high. But it's up to us, the ordinary citizens, to continue demanding our political leaders to tackle climate change, the hardest problem that humanity has ever faced. As we bring our talks on climate change issues to the end, I would like to thank you for all of your attention. Hopefully that I've shared this video will be able to give everyone a clear understanding on what climate change is and the dangers that all of us may face in the future if we let this problem be. Please don't hesitate to share your thoughts and knowledge regarding this issue in the comment section below. Climate change needs to end. Have a great sustainable world. Thank you.